feel out there?
Good. Yeah, I thought today was first of all, it was awesome to just get out there in front of the 12s, in that atmosphere too. I felt like that was, kind of a perfect atmosphere. It felt like it was almost November, December already, out there in the rain out here, and it was an incredible atmosphere too. Just again, like I said last week, I think to you guys, just the way that the fans came out during a preseason game, it's incredible to see. Football-wise, I think our offensive line dominated really most of the game, which is always great to see. That first group, that second group, even the third and fourth group went out there and played really well together. And yeah, it felt really good to get out there in front of the 12s.
When you're running the ball like that, what does that do for the offense? Big gain after big gain.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, whenever you can get a big gain and just stack that up and play action, run some keepers off of it, it makes my job a lot easier as a quarterback.
Just pace, tempo, how you ran, how close, it's only August, of course, but how close is that to the script or mentality you guys want to play with?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we were able to run the football, like we've talked about, mixing in keepers and play action and even some drop back there on second down early in the drive, it was our style of football. It's the style that we've, wanted to kind of create in OTAs, and then even in training camp we started to find our identity that way, and can kind of see it come to life. Like you just mentioned, it's August, so there's still a long ways to go in terms of where we want to be as an offense. But it was really good to get out there and just take the field as a unit the way that we wanted to.
Sam, on the passing end, you only threw 4 of them, but 4 different receivers. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to get the guys, different guys' touches. That's what we're going to be as an offense. We're going to be very multiple. We're going to use different guys in the pass game and the run game, so that defenses aren't going to know what to expect.
We've seen Clint get you and Drew outside the pocket quite a bit, and that's obviously been a part of his offenses in the past. What do you like about that? Yeah,
I think whenever you can run the football, that's always going to be a threat to be able to get outside the pocket on movements and keepers and be able to stress the defense that way horizontally. Obviously we're going to stress them vertically as well, but when you can put that stress, run some wide zone, inside zone, different gap schemes, and then all of a sudden you're running keepers off of those plays, it makes it very tough on defenses.
I know it's just August, but you mentioned the variance in the run game. You guys had 2 big runs in the first preseason game that were coming off of the gap schemes, and then today you're getting the horizontal displacement.
Yeah.
For this stage of the season, do you feel pretty darn good about where that's at in terms of what the line's able to do with all those different types of schemes? Yeah.
I think we've been playing solid as an offense. I feel like we've made strides during training camp, but there's always ways to improve. I feel like just continuing to get in and out of the huddle, personnel getting in and out, and moving the football down the field. Me being very disciplined in the pass game. If it's not there down the field, getting to my check down. There's always ways to be able to get better, and we're going to look at the tape and continue to grow as an offense.
Mike McDonald mentioned to us how quickly you're getting the ball out in practice, and he went up to you and said that you're a pain in the butt now to try to pressure. Where's your evolution been from the start of training camp to now, just in that regard?
Yeah, I think as I've grown as a quarterback, the more experience that I gain, it's always, on first and second down, that's the goal, to get the ball out as fast as possible. And, whether that's to your number 1 target or whether that's to your check down, the faster you can move through these progressions, kind of understand what coverages they want to play and understand what's going to be open, like concept's not going to be open versus certain coverage. They're playing that coverage. How fast can I get to the check down? Like just having that kind of understanding of the system and what defenses want to do to us, that can only help me as a quarterback and also us as an offense.
And how much of what McDonald's throwing at you in practices is going to help you for everything you're going to see in the season?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was getting at, was it's just, trying to get the ball out as fast as possible with coach's defense. Our defense does a great job of being able to mix in different looks, and the more that I can see that, as training camp continues to go, I know we're going to Green Bay to play the Packers, you know, in joint practice, but in these practices leading up to the season, it's always a challenge to be able to figure out where I want to go with the football and what kind of coverage our defense is playing, you know, what pressures they're bringing. Am I hot? Am I not? So just kind of that whole cat and mouse game that our defense likes to play and that we kind of fire back with as an offense. It's been really fun in training camp, and I've learned a lot about, you know, the system and where my certain outlets are in certain plays.
How much does the trust aspect play into that with the growing trust with your receivers like Jackson, knowing that he's going to be prepared to, when he turns his head, the ball's already halfway coming to him?
Yeah, I think our receivers have been doing a great job, first of all, of learning, understanding the system, and kind of making it our own. You know, it's one thing to run a route like it says to on paper, but when you get a certain coverage, you got to, you know, you might have to, you know, widen out a little bit to get this guy to slough off and then come underneath a linebacker and maybe feel a zone. Whereas the paper, it just says 5 yards up, 5 yards in. And for guys to be able to make this offense, you know, our own, I feel like our receivers, tight ends, and running backs have all been doing a great job of kind of, you know, taking ownership of this system.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.